The rumors started the week after John Sims moved into his new home in Tucson, Arizona. At first, they were harmless whispers from neighbors leaning over fences, half smiling, half serious, asking him if he had found it yet. John would laugh politely, assuming they were talking about plumbing, termites, or maybe an old septic tank. But then the previous owner, an old friend of his, handed him the keys and said something that wouldn't leave his mind. "There's something back there," his friend told him quietly. "Buried. I never had the courage to dig it up." That sentence followed John into his sleep. Life inside the house was peaceful. The desert sunsets painted the sky in gold and fire. The backyard was pristine, flat, warm soil stretching beneath endless Arizona sun. Nothing about it suggested mystery. Nothing about it hinted at secrets. But curiosity is a slow-burning flame, and it does not go out. Within weeks, John found himself standing in the middle of that backyard at night, staring at the ground as if it might whisper back. What was buried there? Treasure, old machinery, something illegal, something dangerous? He tried ignoring it. He couldn't. Finally, one blistering afternoon under triple-digit heat, John picked up a shovel and drove it into the earth. The first scoop felt ridiculous. The second felt impulsive. The 10th felt obsessive. Day after day he dug, sweat pouring down his back, dirt piling into small hills behind him. The Arizona sun showed no mercy. His hands blistered. His backyard slowly transformed from a manicured lawn into a battlefield of trenches. And he found nothing. Just dirt. Endless dirt. Doubt crept in. Had his friend been joking? Had decades erased whatever once existed? Was he destroying his own property over a rumor? He almost quit. Almost. Instead, he changed tactic. John drove to the city records office and requested the original property documents. The faded blueprints told a different story. In the corner of the yard, marked carefully in 1961, was a strange note. Constructed by Whitaker Pools. But it wasn't shaped like a pool. It was too small, too deep, and completely underground. A pool buried beneath solid desert soil made no sense, unless it wasn't a pool at all. With renewed determination, John hired professionals armed with sensitive metal detectors. When the machines finally screamed to life twice, his heart nearly stopped. He marked both spots with chalk X's. For first time, the search wasn't blind anymore. This time, when the shovel struck something solid, the sound was unmistakable. Metal, rusty, cold. They cleared the dirt carefully until a circular hatch revealed itself beneath decades of silence. It looked ancient, industrial, intentional. John hesitated. Then he pulled. The hatch groaned open. Cold air rose from the darkness below, and when his eyes adjusted, he saw it. A spiral staircase descending into the earth. Not a hole, not a pipe, an entrance. And whatever waited below had been sealed there since 1961. John didn't know it yet, but this was no swimming pool. This was something built in fear, and it was about to change his life forever. John didn't rush down the staircase. He was a former fire captain. He understood confined spaces, structural collapse, air quality, fear. So he prepared. He reinforced the entrance, installed ventilation, ran power lines, replaced the rusted stair. For weeks, he and his friends worked under a tent in the brutal Arizona heat, strengthening a structure no one had entered in over half a century. Then came the descent. Step by careful step, John climbed down into the darkness. What he found was not a chamber. It was an underground complex. A domed fiberglass ceiling, reinforced concrete walls, vent shafts, thick steel supports. The air felt trapped in time, untouched. This wasn't a pool. It was a Cold War nuclear fallout shelter, built in 1961, the year of the Cuban Missile Crisis. During the height of nuclear paranoia, companies like Whitaker Pools secretly built private bunkers for families terrified of atomic war. Tucson, once home to 18 missile silos, had been a strategic nuclear target. John's backyard had been hiding a relic of fear, a monument to survival. Instead of sealing it back up, John made a decision. He went public. His Reddit post exploded overnight. Thousands responded. Neighbors discovered they too had hidden shelters beneath their yards. John didn't see a bunker. He saw history. Months later, the space reopened as a restored Cold War museum, complete with Geiger counters, radios, emergency kits, and preserved artifacts. What began as a rumor became a national conversation, and what was buried in silence for 50 years became a living reminder of a world that once stood on the edge of destruction. Sometimes, the ground beneath your feet holds more than dirt. Sometimes, it holds history.